Hello, everyone. I'm Jennifer McCary. I use she, her, hers pronouns, and I serve as the Chief Diversity and Belonging Officer. I hope that you've enjoyed this day of dialogue thus far. We're almost done. All that's left is the live Q&A with our keynote and any of the panelists who are able to join us. We certainly hope that you're able to go over to that live session to participate. I wanted to review with you the comprehensive strategy and plan that was released in June. This plan outlines the work that we will do through 2023, but it will take each of us to do this work, and so I want to be sure that you're familiar with the document. I'll be reading to you and navigating the screen, so forgive me if I don't maintain great eye contact. This starts with a statement affirming diversity and belonging by our Board of Trustees, and I'll read it. Bowling Green State University values diversity as essential to improving the human condition. Diversity and inclusion immeasurably enriches all that we do to engage, understand, and respect individuals. Within our community, the diversity of identities and life experiences determine how we perceive and contribute to society. We acknowledge that diversity has not always been understood or embraced in our society, yet at BGSU, we will strive to understand and embrace diversity by breaking down barriers to meaningful participation to ensure that individuals are treated with dignity. As a community, we commit to advance this culture through a comprehensive strategy and diversity plan that focuses on the recruitment, retention, and success of a diverse student body, faculty, staff, and administration. As a public university for the public good, our bedrock commitment to diversity and belonging requires mutual respect, understanding, and valuing individuals to facilitate a more diverse and inclusive environment so all can belong. As the Diversity and Belonging Council was writing this document, we were really guided by the words of the Board of Trustees as we got started in the work. So as we continued with the document, we thought that it was important to share some of the data. Some people have said that they haven't been able to easily find this, and so we wanted to put it right up front. And it shares the undergraduate student population by race and ethnicity, the graduate student population by race and ethnicity. It also shares the faculty population by race and ethnicity and the staff population by race and ethnicity. And the next section goes over those same populations, but by gender. One of the things that we thought was really important is to spend our time focusing on survey collection and definitions. And so President Rogers and I issued a survey last fall to really help us to identify benchmark data related to diversity and belonging at BGSU. This plan outlines for you the results of that survey. And I want you to take a look, but also know that it's our sincere hope that the next time that this survey comes out that you will participate so that we know how connected you feel with the campus community and if you have a sense of belonging. When it came to definitions, we really wanted to make sure that we had a common linguistic framework to help us to better listen and understand one another. We just recently experienced the impact that one person's words can have. And so we want to be sure that we're able to equip you with the language and the framework when we talk about diversity, equity, inclusion, and belonging. What does that mean? And one of the important things is that we went around and held sessions so that people on both Firelands and BG campuses could contribute. And so we heard from you and we edited these definitions based on the feedback that you provided. What we want you to remember is that belonging is the result of a successful alignment of diversity, equity, and inclusion efforts. It will take us making sure that we are doing all of those things well in order for people to belong. We have a section here on the impact of COVID because just as we were working on the draft of the plan, the campus, just like the world, abruptly came to a halt. And so we wanted to make sure that we acknowledge that we are here in this time and place, but we also hope that this is far past when we get to the end of this in 2023. Yet we also recognize that this may be a symbol or almost like a relic in a time capsule of the fact that we were able to get through something together. So now we're into the actual diversity and belonging comprehensive strategy and plan. And this outlines 4 strategic goals, as well as some of the thematic strategies that we identified. The first goal says that each BGSU student will graduate with the cultural competence necessary to live a meaningful and productive life in a diverse world. The next one says that we will equip students from all identities with the tools and support necessary to overcome personal and societal barriers, graduate, and achieve success. The next says that through our strategies, we will enhance our culture to support diversity and belonging, from our hiring practices to our recruitment and retention initiatives. And finally, faculty, staff, and students will feel a sense of belonging with the BGSU community as a whole. While I won't go through everything outlined under these strategies, I will say that the themes that came up were advocacy, education and development, programming, community, and accountability. It's important to note that when we're doing this work, although the Diversity and Belonging Council has put together this plan, it is not our intent that this document will tell you how to actually accomplish the work. We're relying on student organizations such as USG and GSS to provide feedback and a plan for how students can help with this work. We're also relying on deans, department chairs, the Center for Faculty Excellence, and faculty to utilize their Dean's Advisory Councils on Diversity and Inclusion, known as the CODI, or other similar groups, as well as Faculty Senate, to consider ways that faculty would like to structure the work of our faculty. And we would like for classified staff council and administrative staff council to determine the best ways for our staff to contribute to this work. It will take each of us to contribute to a campus community that we deserve to live, learn, and work in. So this plan really concludes with the template for the Diversity and Belonging Action Plan. And I'm happy to share that 100% of our deans were able to submit their completed plans last fall or early in the spring of last academic year. So you'll be able to look at this document and see some of the things the deans were asked to think about, that the faculty have been asked to think about. And our hope is that student organizations will perhaps modify this template and use it for your orgs as well in order to think through the best ways for you to contribute to this work. So I recently shared remarks with my team that I want to share in part with you also. Our nation is deeply flawed, but even with all of those flaws, I believe that we are at a tipping point of history and will finally have the chance to land on the right side. The outrage hasn't gone away over injustice. Is happening all around us like it has in the past. Right now, you can actually feel the arc of the moral universe starting to bend. So recently, two of our colleagues have shared things with me that have been good reminders to me, and I want to share those things with you. The first is that diversity and belonging work is always going to fall into one of three categories: changing hearts, changing minds, or changing actions. Another person recently said to me that the division of diversity and belonging is seen as the conscience of campus. And when I heard that, I thought that it was too great of a burden to bear, but I saw the connection between their statements. We have levels of consciousness: unconscious, subconscious, and conscious. And to be conscious is to have an awareness of how your internal and external existence aligns. Oftentimes what happens in our hearts is unconscious. What happens in our minds happens at the subconscious level, and we are fully conscious of our actions. As I consider this more, it actually makes the weight of our work more bearable, because when we have those challenging days, weeks, months, or sometimes years, like 2020 has seemed to be, I want you to remember that the work that we're doing right now, collectively, on both of our campuses, is raising awareness and it's changing lives. I'm reviewing this plan with you because we cannot allow it to become another document that another committee wrote that gets filed on some shelf. We can't view it as something to check a box or say that we completed it. This change cannot take place just because of words on paper. It's not going to work overnight. It's not going to even happen all in 1 year. But if we have gotten tired of talking, then we have to take the steps to actually move forward and take action. So I look forward to partnering with you, and I thank you for your continued support. I hope that you've enjoyed this day of dialogue, and I hope that you will join us for the live Q&A. Be well, everyone.